It is Wednesday, March 11th. So let's start off with I was almost gonna say silver, but no, S&P. So a real chop fest of a day, right? I mean, we opened basically a little choppy, little spike. What's that? 68.11, right? Yep. Full reversal, little micro bounce, cool down again into the 12 o'clock. Another little rally, little micro washout here, even breaking a marginal new low. And micro chop mode, you have this little mini fractional breakout around what's that? 3:30? Yeah. And then 3:45, little chop, leaning a little bit higher. That's actually a little bullish. That's a hammer candle. At the 3:45 candle. It does lean bullish. And if all of this is a bull flag, then you could extrapolate roughly 200 points from that wave onto that low, which would give you, 69.50 or so, roughly. That's a long way up, right? That's up here. VIX, so much to say on the VIX, really. Actually, look at the daily charts briefly. I mean, the fourth day low of 5, right? And it is a rounded top, but again, if we go much above, certainly, my lines in the sand, uh, bullish above 6,900, bearish under the 200-day, which will be around 6,600 tomorrow. Um, yeah, everything else is a literal war zone. Have a look at that one. Fill the red gap, spiked. Tag purple gap, spiked. And what do you think, huh? I mean, which way we gonna go, huh? We're gonna break above. You have some people who are looking for a push above 7K. I mean, Tom Lee calling for 7,300. You have other people crash calling. But again, it's all a mix. It's a complete mess. All of this is a mess. Bullish above 6,900, bearish under 66. I mean, right now, there are certain stocks. American Express is one of them. There are many others. I'll highlight them in a minute. That are cyclically low, and some of them are starting to suggest that actually we're going to break upward, which is not something I was expecting, but it is what it is, right? Don't fight the trend. Whatever you do, don't fight the trend. And I would say, firstly, there is no trend right now. It's a mess, right? It's a mess. So for me personally, I would only want to go heavy short under the 200-day. But right now, I'm extremely tentative to be long anything. And ironic, it's like I want to be more confident going above 6,900. But yeah, what a mess. And just briefly, the VIX. Third day lower. Yes, they had a reversal candle. They did play out briefly, but daily momentum's weakening. In fact, currently, it's not going to turn negative tomorrow, but it might turn negative on Friday. And keep in mind, we have the Fed next Wednesday. Interesting. Can't be bullish the VIX right now. I will cover gold, silver, and oil at the end. If you want to skip ahead, go right ahead. But I think there's some interesting charts here on the daily and they're giving me some ideas as to where the hell we might be going. I mean, look, Apple's a mess, right? You have lower highs, that's bearish. I will accept we have a higher low there, maybe. And this one is holding above 200 day. Again, down 2 cents. It's all noise, right? Don't care about that. Yeah, all of the black candles that I was talking about yesterday in the mining stocks, they all played out. American Eagle, yesterday spiky candle kind of played out, down 3%. You got to keep an eye on this one. If it holds the 200 day, then we have a gap up here. We actually have I think there's a couple of minor gaps there as well, but there's one here, right? So the 22s. Another minor black candle played out. AMD up 0.8. What's that? 204.83. That's a black candle. There's a number of stocks that do have black candles and suggest that Thursday will start weak. So I am guessing that a few things will, well, the market should open a little bit lower tomorrow. Not much, maybe 0.3, 0.4%, maybe. That would be my guess. Amazon, a little weak. Now here's one. So look, American Express up 0.9. I understand most people I don't trade it. I haven't traded it. But it's one of a number of key stocks I've been watching. Monday candle, bullish engulfing. Tuesday chop. Today's candle is actually bullish engulfing. It's very subtle, but it's there. And you got to think, hey, look at this. Green gap, 200 day, 50 day. Is this thing going to get up to like 334? I mean, maybe next week, maybe the week after, right? And if that's the case, I can't be short any of the financials. So I was watching it. I was watching this in the early morning, thinking, I can't short KKR. I can't short American Express. I can't short JP Morgan. Not right now. I mean, to be quite clear, I want to short all of them. But cyclically, the setup is not good at all. Gotta wait. Gotta wait. Green gap. I think it's got to go to green gap. If I'm right, everything else kind of follows. I mean, look at this also. Look at this. Look at that. It's got to turn positive. Probably not tomorrow, but probably on Friday or Monday. And when it does, I mean, you could go up for at least a few days, maybe even something like that. Maybe even that. But that's that scares me. As someone who wants to short the financials, I'm like, nope. That is saying do not short the financials. So I am refraining, even though I'm very inclined to. It's tough to resist, but I'm going to resist because shorting at shorting at American Express at 330 or so is a lot better than trying to bloody short it at 305. Or even actually this morning it was 300, right? So yeah, I think it's going up. Got to just sit back and watch. At least into the Fed. So yeah, I think no shorts into the Fed. At least into the Fed. Moving on. Barrett Gold, black candle played out. Boeing, new cycle low there, not great. I mean, red gap would be for the magnet. Bank of America, 48.52. That is a reversal candle that leans bullish. Probably to the Fed. BlackRock down 1.7. Not great, but it's holding above the Monday low. Again, green gap. That would be the natural target. I would note today the 50 day is, well, it's not quite under the 200 day yet, but it's going to get a death cross soon. Blackstone, another one, not great, right? But just holding the Monday low. Again, look, cyclically, look at this. We're on the low end. We're on the low end like here and here. So this is not, as a short, as a short candidate, this is not great. You want to be looking to go short when that little black line is at least somewhere up on this side, not here. Maybe shorting when the momentum is on the higher end. We're basically neutral. Probably going to turn positive. So I can't do that one either. Caterpillar, down 1%. Gumiko, not much there. Coinbase, you could argue, what is that? That's a bull flag around the 50-day. Yep. There's a little teeny gap around here. 250, 260 area. Decker's not great. Bearish engulfing candle. I still think 91 is gonna be it's gonna be fully fill this gap. But again, look, it's another one. Cyclically low. Might turn positive on Friday. Bullish energy. Black candle played out. That's not great. Two spiky candles. Sellers are coming in. The bulls need to hold the line. You can't see forward under 1180, otherwise that's a problem. Freeport, that is a hollow red reversal candle. Bullish for Thursday. Doesn't mean Thursday opens up, just means that Thursday should be green at some point. So if we do open down, I do expect an upside reversal. Not great. Home Depot down. Heckler, weak. Intel stronger. Yeah, some of the semicons were pretty strong today. Monday had a bullish engulfing candle. Tuesday up. Wednesday up. That's pretty good. I mean, we have a teal gap here to fill to the 54s. Joby catching a bounce. JP Morgan down 0.4, but it's not a reversal candle, but it's another stock where momentum is leveling out and prone to ticking upwards uh, into next week. Maybe this late last week of March, maybe. I mean, I was short this on Monday morning and bailed from. I think I got out around what? I don't know, 282 maybe, somewhere around there. KKR down 3%, but definitely one of the weakest financials out there. But again, it's holding the low from last week though. Momentum is actually positive. Look at the volume here. Look at the volume. In the Morgan, you could say that's a bull flag. Microsoft, you could argue that's a baby bull flag offering green gap. Look at that. You have green gap with the 200 day. Maybe, I mean, I accept the 200 days a long way up. That's too high, but I could accept people could look for 438. Maybe. I mean, it's a trade, and that is a baby bull flag. What's momentum doing? Momentum's on the high end already. Huh. Micron, up almost 4%, pushing against trend. It's pretty bullish. Netflix, just cooling back. Third day down. Actually, a fourth day down. We have a big old gap to fill. Maybe, I mean, it could even come down to the 50-day, but Nike, yeah, this was up 2% in the morning on a Barclays upgrade. I think they're looking for like $74 or something. Yeah, that's bearish engulfing candle. The sellers came in. Not a great sign. And Nvidia up 0.7. Not very much, but yeah, it's third day up. And I do expect the 200-day to be taken out, but you know, maybe we're starting to lean net bullish into the Fed. On just churning around. Occidental powering up 4%. Pan American Silver, another candle, a black candle yesterday played out. Today's candle is a reversal, leans bullish for Thursday. Palantir up 0.3. Is that a black candle? No. But structure, you could argue structure is a baby bull flag. PayPal's a mess. Red Cat, oh, look at that. Wow. 10.2%. 1616. That's impressive. Again, you got to be bullish drones, right? Actually, look at the volume. Look at the volume here. Wow, the big money. The big money are piling into drones. Who can blame them, right? We're in the era of drone warfare, right? I don't care about Transocean. Rocket Lab up 4%. A lot of chop. I'd lean short-term bullish with the main market, but I still got to think the 200-day will be taken out eventually. Target down 1.5%. Tesla, yeah, Tesla was up 3.5% of the high. It did cool off, but still, that's a third day higher. Yesterday's black candle did not play out. So leaning short-term bullish into the Fed. Take two. Bullish short-term. United Airlines. Yeah, this was another one. I was looking at this in pre-market and early morning thinking I want to short it, but I'm like, the setup is not there right now. I mean, so it's settled down 0.4%. Today's candle is kind of doesn't give you any idea really. On a momentum side, look at this. It's low, right? This isn't good. I mean, if I wanted to short it, I want to be shorting it on the positive side. I mean, it's not difficult. This is not good. This is not a good place to be short it. So no, I got to leave it. I do want to short it, and I do think in the midterm, the airlines will look very vulnerable. But yeah, you even have a little gap here. Look at this. There's a little gap with the 10 of May and the 200-day around 90, 98, 99. That's 9. That's 10% up. 10% to get the gap. That would make for a much better shorting level. United Health up 1%. UPS trying to build a floor. Again, this is another one. Look at this. See how oversold it is. You don't want to be short there, right? You don't want to be short over here. Look what happened here. Look at this. I mean, in this case, it did bounce, not that much, but yeah. Maybe they'll try and bounce it to the 50-day. 108. Exxon, solid gains 2.3%. A couple of stocks come to mind. Oracle, of course, which had good earnings, up 9%. I said it in early morning. What was if I was long, which of course, unfortunately, I didn't have any. I didn't want to do it. Should have done it, but hey, anyone who should have bowed in early morning for a 10 to 15% gain. That's a black candle from the 50-day. It does lean bearish for probably early Thursday. But earnings were good. And look at how cheap this stock is relative to last September's hysteria on AI. Look at that. It gapped. I think that was when it jumped up 30 odd percent in a day. In fact, yeah, this is the second time now. I was actually very close to going long there as well. Why? Because look, momentum was about to turn positive into earnings. Now, in this case, momentum was already on the positive side, but that was really like a good earnings entry there. Today's volume was up. What else? Yeah, before we run out of time, gold, silver, oil, right? Yeah. All right, what do we start with? Start with GLD. So look, yesterday's candle was black. That played out. Today's candle is actually a hollow red reversal. That's bullish for Thursday. Broader structure is a gigantic bullish pennant. SLV. Yesterday's candle was black. That played out today. Today's candle is It's not a reversal candle, but it is. You could even argue, and I was thinking about this earlier today, you can argue that's just a back test of trend, right? It's not a great trend, but it's pretty good. And cyclically, we're kind of fractionally positive. I actually want to highlight. Well, actually, this will do anyway. Green gap. I think this looks possible now. I mean, there was a stall here, right? And down we went. Now we've broken up. And it's like, okay, can we go from 77 to roughly 89 is the lower end of the gap. That's roughly what, almost $12. There's a trade there, and I'm interested. Actually, in terms of SLB, I'll even actually there's a 60-minute. We don't care about that. We do care about the 15-minute and the 5. So look, watching the main market in early morning, silver gap down, provisional floor, bounce, pulled back, and put in a higher low here. I think, where did I go long? I went long about there. Yeah. I was long about there, just around 12 o'clock, and I sold there. And as soon as I sold, it started coming down there, but then it had a little late day ramp because the S&P was recovering upwards. Look, I'm completely open-minded. Maybe if this gaps down in the morning, I'll buy it back. If instead it gaps up, okay, I can live with that. But this is gonna have to be filled either tomorrow or probably Friday or Monday. I don't mind which. And the other one is oil. Let's start with commodity oil. So officially, oil was up 496, almost 5.9%, $88.41. Price action is just wild, isn't it? And look at this. This is crazy. Momentum's weakening though. You can argue, well, you certainly overbought. Um, the weekly candle, a lot of look. I mean, look at all the price clustering around here. 87s, 92s, but yeah, 87s. Market likes trading around this level. Let's go to USO on a 60-minute. So yesterday afternoon we had that little spike of a gap from last Thursday. Today was kind of a little early weakness and then a lot of micro churn. I will say, clearly if there's any kind of positive war developments, positive as in peace issues, then maybe we'll come down to red gap again. That's a long way down. 108 to 92. I mean, we printed 94 yesterday. And you could argue this is some kind of bear flag, which would be a mirror to the S&P bull flag. You could even argue we're just having a retrace, some kind of A, B, C retrace. But for the moment, I'm happy to just leave it alone. I mean, this is today's action, and other than the open, it was just chop. There's nothing to trade there in my view. I mean, who was? I mean, I almost bought around here, but I'm like, nope, I'll leave it alone because the S&P setup wasn't right either. I am twitchy as hell, really nervous, twitchy, whatever you want to call it, but hyper cautious. My God, hyper cautious. But that's been serving me pretty well lately. Just checking SLV in terms of weekly momentum. I mean, look how close we are. We are so close It's having weekly momentum turn negative, which is a problem. You can argue the same there, right? I was worried about silver weakening from October. Then it started ticking upwards again, which is when I jumped on board and then rode it up into January. So it's like if you're a silver bull, you want to see this start ticking upwards again. Same for gold. If we look at gold on a, so we'll look at commodity gold. You see, so commodity gold is still very positive momentum, but it is weakening. And what should we end with? Um, Bitcoin's just churning. I did notice bond yields early, but I know most people don't care about those. Yeah, check this out. Actually, these haven't updated. Actually, they have updated. Okay. Yeah, look at that. For UK 10-year, 4.63. America 4.23. Germany 294. Japan's 217. They're all still kind of leaning upwards. You know, bond prices up, yields down. Actually, well, yields up, bond prices down. So yeah, some perspective, which is what I revel in. I mean, look, this doesn't bode well for April. It really doesn't. So even if we can bounce for a week or two, momentum should be continuing to weaken into April. And maybe this just drags out into May. So if we do end the month on a positive note, this bar will tick upwards, but it'll still be lower, and then we'll tick lower into April, and then maybe we don't turn negative until May. But anyway, the trend is still there. There's still underlying weakness is building. Anyway, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time, right? But I will say it here as well as I've been saying in a number of spaces and stuff. But the cautious are going to trade light or not at all, and it's okay to do nothing. I was very inclined to kind of just do nothing after this morning's opening mess, and I'm thinking, no, I can trade silver. So I did one silver trade a day, not a big gain, a tiny, tiny little gain. Uh, Literally enough to buy, I don't know, half a dozen bags of popcorn, big bags, giant bags. Um, but cautious will be cautious. This market is a mess, clearly. Bullish above 6,900, bearish under 6,600. Everything else is the proverbial war zone. Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow's a Thursday. Thursdays will inherently favor the bears. I do lean net bearish for early Thursday. And if silver's down maybe a percent, maybe 1.5%, I would be inclined to buy. But again, if I do buy, I will be trading light. I have no stomach for being heavy involved with right now. I keep keep thinking about American Express and the various financials and United Airlines. The daily charts are threatening a little bit of upside, and they certainly argue that it's not a prime setup for the bears to be shorting them. I'm absolutely bearish the financials, especially KKR and airlines, United Airlines, but I think I'm gonna have to wait. I sure as hell don't know if Tom Lee's gonna be right about 7,300 by the end of the month. Maybe he will be, and in some ways, it's like okay, fine, I'll just reshort from around 7,300 or so. It's a lot better than trying to be short from 6,775. So we'll see. But yeah, got to keep an eye on those two thresholds. Bullish above 6,900, bearish under 6,600. Everything else in between is a mess, and I absolutely think the cautious are going to be really, especially cautious. And there's a few headlines, news stories today about people, about Goldman or maybe it was JP Morgan, saying that look, this is a treacherous market. We're very vulnerable to big upside gaps or big downside gaps. The cautious will trade light. And again, on that note, good night.